Hello everyone, my name is Robert Garza. I'm the U.S. Army Garrison Ansbach Safety Director, and I'd like to take this opportunity to talk about a few items regarding safety. This is intended for personnel just arriving in Germany and Europe, and hopefully this information will help you have a safe and enjoyable tour here in Europe. First of all, my office is here in support of the garrison and the garrison staff, but we also liaise with the tenant unit safety officers, and I would recommend everyone to please become aware of who your safety officers are in the unit and engage with them. And if you have any safety questions, please, I'm sure they'll appreciate you reaching out to them and asking them whatever your safety questions could be. Here in Europe, I know that everyone has come here to serve the Army and do your job well, and hopefully while you're here have a safe and rewarding tour. But everywhere you go, you're never too far away from risk. And this brings us to my first topic regarding our number one killer in the Army. And that number one killer is fatal traffic accidents. So this is a general risk wherever you're stationed. Back in the States, there's always a risk of traffic accidents, traffic fatalities. And now the difference for you here in Europe is that you're going to encounter a different driving environment. In Europe, you might encounter speeds that are a little bit higher level than you might be used to. There's a different physical driving environment as far as a lot of neighborhoods have very narrow streets. They have areas that the vehicles share with pedestrians and bicyclists. And so all of that makes it incumbent upon you to be very aware when you're out there driving your vehicle. This could be as you drive your POV, your personal vehicle, or as you're driving a military vehicle. Either way, the laws and restrictions all apply no matter what type of vehicle you're driving. Okay. Some of the main factors that are involved with vehicle fatalities involve speed, alcohol, not wearing your seatbelt, just being complacent, not paying attention while you're driving, driving while you're tired, and all of these things are avoidable if you plan ahead. Here within U.S. Army Garrison Ansbach, we have an identified trend of minor traffic accidents that are attributed to distracted driving. Things like being on a cell phone or texting or maybe even eating while you're driving, just basically not paying attention. While you're driving, that is your main focus, and you should just focus on driving and nothing else. A lot of these accidents also because some drivers have become too reliant upon their backup cameras. A lot of modern cars have backup cameras. So just remember not to rely completely on those backup cameras. You have to physically turn around and look behind you as you're backing up. Another factor is environmental factors here in Europe. Fog is a very big factor here during the winter and fall because it can happen, fog can come up overnight and just cause risky traffic conditions out there on the road. And there are laws that are associated with environmental conditions. For example, if you encounter fog and your visibility is less than 50 meters, you have to slow down to at least 50 kilometers or even slower depending on the conditions. All right, so just be aware of that. Other environmental conditions that also have driving laws associated with them are driving on snow and ice. If you drive on snow and ice, you have to have official manufactured designed snow tires. They can't be all season and they can't just be summer tires. They have to be snow tires. And that runs all the way from October to April here in Germany. You might even encounter some emergencies while you're driving. If that's the case, be sure to get all the way over to the right as far as you can on the road and just get away from the vehicle. Don't stand next to it. Don't stand behind it. Get away from the vehicle. Just make sure that also you put on your reflective vest we're required to have reflective vests in each vehicle, and a warning triangle and a first aid kit. So make sure you put on your vest, put out your warning triangle. There are distances that pertain to deployment of the warning triangle. If you're in the city and you break down, you have to put your warning triangle at least 50 meters behind you. If you're on one of these country roads, what we call the Landstraße, it's got to be out 100 meters behind you. And if you're out on the Autobahn, depending on conditions, you have to put it out from 150 meters to 400 meters. That's what they want you to do. So, and if you break down on the Autobahn, they have these very convenient little orange little telephone boxes that you can go up to. You pull out the receiver and you put it up to your ear, and no matter what you speak, you can speak English, German, whatever, they'll know where you're at. As soon as you pick up the receiver, it activates it, so they know you're in trouble because you picked it up, and they know where you're at, and they'll send a tow truck out to help you out. Okay. We talked about winter tires. Alcohol is never a good thing to do before you drive. You never want to drink and drive. It could really hurt your career, and it could hurt you or get you killed, or you, or your family members, or somebody in the public. Car seats. For those of you that come over here with your family, there are specific car seat requirements and booster seat requirements. So don't take for granted that if you have an American car seat, that it's going to be compatible with the German car if you buy a German car, or vice versa. If you have an American car and you have a German car seat, don't think that it's going to fit. So make sure you check the compatibility before you buy a car seat for your children. Motorcycle safety is also a very big topic over here. Motorcycle safety is covered with AER 190-1. And that talks about all of the mandated safety equipment that you're supposed to wear. You have to have a helmet. You have to have a bright colored upper garment, long sleeve, and that has to have some reflective material incorporated into it. You have to have leather gloves, and you have to have good sturdy over the ankle footwear, and you have to wear pants. So that applies to service members on and off post 24 hours a day. It doesn't necessarily apply to local nationals working on base. USARA does not have any training for motorcycle riders that do not already have a license. Basically, to get a motorcycle license through USARA, you have to already have an endorsement on your motorcycle license, and when you come over here, you go through a localized training, I think like 30 questions or so, and then have to make sure that you're up to speed on your motorcycle safety foundation training, and then you can get your motorcycle license from USARA. But USARA does not provide any training for novice riders over here. Well, in USARA or here in Europe, I hope you'll be able to get out and enjoy some of the great activities there are to do over here: skiing, fishing, hunting, things like that. Just remember to be safe while you're doing that. Okay, recreational safety is very important. Our MWR department has a lot of trips that they organize, and those tend to be very safe. But if you venture out on your own, make sure you know where you're going and what you're going to be doing. Make sure that you use any required safety equipment associated with whichever activity you're doing. Okay, and don't go anywhere by yourself. Take a partner with you. Take somebody who's going to go along and share the fun, and you guys, you can all keep an eye on each other, okay? And especially let your unit know where you're going. Barbecue grill safety. Here on base, it's pretty common for the residents to have barbecue grills. Just remember, you have to be at least 50 feet away from the building when you do operate your grill, and you can't be under any overhead cover. You shouldn't be under a tree, and you shouldn't be underneath one of the pavilions when you spark up your grill, okay? Pedestrian safety is very important. Pedestrian safety, has recently been a big topic with the Army. We've had several fatalities of pedestrians being struck by vehicles because they weren't paying attention, or they were walking in areas where they shouldn't have been walking in vicinity of high-speed traffic. So please follow the traffic laws when you're walking around downtown, on post or off post. Make sure you follow the traffic lights that tell you, when you can't cross the street, and just be safe out there. Water and swimming safety here in Europe. There are a lot of places to swim here in Europe, a lot of natural lakes and ponds. Just remember that in this environment, the water over here doesn't ever really warm up that much. So you might be surprised if you go jumping off a pier into a pond and then find out that the water's pretty cold. Okay, and that might cause you to cramp up, and then you'll have trouble getting out. So once again, if you do go swimming, make sure you don't go alone. Take somebody with you. Don't be embarrassed to wear a flotation device. There's nothing wrong with it. In case you accidentally fall in, you have a flotation device on, and you'll be okay. Very popular mode of travel that has come into fashion lately are scooters, electric scooters. Many cities in Europe where you go to, you can download an app that allows you to rent the scooters that are available. Just remember to wear a helmet and any safety equipment when you do that. I know that being out there visiting and you come across the scooters to rent, you might not have that equipment available. Just remember that if you do get hurt and you're on a scooter and you don't have safety equipment, you might have to answer for that when you get back to your unit. So just be careful. On base, when you operate scooters on base, you do have to have all the safety equipment. You have to have a helmet, gloves, knee pads, and elbow pads. So just be aware of that, okay? Same thing goes when you're riding bicycles on base. You have to have all of the appropriate equipment that's outlined in AER 190-1, which is basically a helmet, some kind of reflective device, either your PT belt or a vest, and some gloves. That's always good to have in case you take a spill. As far as bicycle safety goes, again, make sure you check your helmet periodically, especially if you take a spill with it. The helmet could get damaged, and you don't want to use a helmet that might have been damaged. Okay. The German bicycle requirements are also listed in AER 190-1. So basically, if you buy a bicycle from the PX, or if you buy it from downtown, just make sure it has all the right safety equipment. You have to have a white headlight in front. You have to have a red taillight and a reflector in the back. You have to have reflectors on the wheels that you can see from either side, and they're 180 degrees opposite from each other. And you have to have a horn or a bell, okay? And if you're riding your bicycle on the streets, make sure you're all the way as far to the right as possible. If there are no designated bike lanes, some cities will have a designated bike lane, so you're required to use that if you're riding your bicycle out there. Here in Germany, lately, they've had an increase in the number of ticks that are out in the woods. This is due to the fact that the winters here in Germany the past few years have been kind of mild, and so that it doesn't kill off the population of ticks. And so come springtime, there's already a population out there, and they're making new ticks. So there's a whole lot of ticks out there. So as you walk out in the woods, if you brush up against any bushes or grass, whatever, make sure you give yourself a good check when you get home, because you might have a tick on you, okay? That pretty much covers everything I want to share with you about safety over here in Europe. If you encounter anything specific that you have questions on, as I mentioned before, please refer to your unit safety officer. They can have information that can help you out, or they can contact me, or you can contact me also at 468-7780, and my cell number is 0162-296-8205. So this is Safety Bob, just wishing everyone a safe tour of duty here in Europe, and welcome to Germany.